People, Deluded, I'm back again. I'm here to speak about some of our players out on loan. You know, I'm not speaking about Guendouzi. Commiserations to Guendouzi. I know he's nursing, or better yet, recovering from COVID-19. I'm not going to make Torreira a thing of talking about Torreira on a regular basis because I know his quality. He got 90 minutes at the weekend. Hopefully Partey can get 90 minutes next week against Leicester. And he's playing, or should be playing, against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. I think the world is going to see how good of a player Torreira is. And Arsenal potentially going to see how stupid they were to let him go out on loan for the season. And small hope that, you know, he comes back next season, or better yet, you get more money and we can reinvest that into a better player, or do what Arteta wants to do. But in relation to the loan report and talking about our young players playing their trade away from the team on a temporary basis as they try to develop, I held off from doing this on Monday, Tuesday because there was midweek fixtures for some. So here we are on Wednesday evening. Let's start with Daniel Ballard. You know, he was on the bench against Crewe. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He came off the bench in the 3rd or 4th minute against Charlton, as obviously Blackpool went down to 10 men and had to make a change. And he had a combative performance. He rose to every header and every tackle he would, despite the fact that they lost. He's their man of the match, and he had a good debut. Really, it's sad that the circumstances it came in, but yeah, he's done all he can to put pressure on the starting centre halves and show his manager, listen, I'm here to help you lot. And for Daniel, it's good. I hope he stays fit because, you know, his last loan spell, it got off to a good start. Sadly, he was robbed of making progress last season through injury. He's of the age where he needs to play regular first team football and try and advance. And, you know, what better way for a defender to play League One football and get blooded in and learn those harsh lessons. So, because I think you can't teach this at 23s. And so big up Daniel Ballard, man. Good for him. Obviously, Gillingham have had 2 game weeks as well. Ballard, was on the bench against Crewe. I don't believe he came on. Zach Medley and Trey Coyle, both at Gillingham Town. You know, for Coyle, he started off the season strongly. He's been out of the team for a while, and it appears he has to remain patient until he gets an opportunity to show what he's on. He was an unused substitute against Portsmouth, and in the MK Dons defeat, he played 23 minutes. He had some good touches from what I've seen, but it was too little too late to really affect the game. Medley had an okay game for MK Dons. I don't think he was at fault based on what I've seen of the goals, but, you know, it's never nice to lose a game, but each game makes you stronger, and it's nice to see Medley got 90 minutes against MK Dons. I'm not too sure as to why he wasn't in the Portsmouth team. I hope there's no knock and no injury. It could be tactical and the need to make rotations, so I don't know. Gillingham fans are probably more in the loop than me. Now, Matt Smith, for me, one of the most promising loan spells so far. He's really endeared himself to the Swindon Town faithful and really playing well. They've not had the best of joy. You know, they lost to Sunderland and they were unlucky against Northampton Town. Against Northampton, I think he had a better second half, but like the rest of the team, it was too easy. You know, Northampton were brushing past their midfield far too easily and at will. I think in the defeat to Sunderland, he made some good passes. He had a very decent game. He's just unfortunate. But Matt Smith is looking good. You know, every game is making him stronger. Every game he looks like he's made for this level. And for me, the next step is, can you put yourself in the shop window either at Arsenal to get a look in? Can you put yourself in the shop window for a League One or Championship team to potentially take you on permanently? Because he's going to go and have a good career. And I don't think him in particular, you can't go back to playing 23s after this, people, you know. So if there's not a genuine pathway at Arsenal, either go on loan again or do what you need to do. Osei Tutu played in Cardiff's victory against Preston. He got 77 minutes. Sadly, he's allegedly came off due to an injury concern. That injury remains unknown. But again, apparently, I never watched that game. I've only seen the highlights. He was decent. From what I've read and what I've seen, he looked decent, but I can't verify that. Either way, again, like the others, every game makes them stronger. John-Jules is missing for Doncaster Rovers as he picked up a thigh strain during international duty for England and will probably miss the next couple of weeks or so. If you follow him on Instagram or follow Daniel Are You Okay on Instagram, you can see John-Jules back at Arsenal receiving treatment. So hopefully, you know, we get his thigh back up to standard and he can head back up to Doncaster and carry on helping Darren Moore on his quest. And it is a bit sad, you know. Like I said with Matt Smith, I want Tyrese to put himself in the shop window. Can you tempt Premier League clubs, Championship teams, to come for you mid-season and try and rip up that season-long loan spell you've got? Can you put yourself in a permanent window? Because he has had interest on a permanent basis from Championship clubs. Obviously, I'd like to see him get a chance in the first team, but he needs to prove he can score goals at League One level for all his quality. And he's been robbed at least for a month or so, or hopefully anything up to a month with this thigh injury, I suspect. But who knows? It's sad to not be able to speak about him because you lot know I'm very biased when it comes to Tyrese. Now, Bowler had a bit of a nightmare. You know, he made his debut in the 3-0 defeat against Hull, and it was a tough game for all those defenders, and he learnt a harsh lesson. I watched the highlights again; they were terrible. Collectively, everybody was terrible. From what I read and what I see, he had a better composing game against, I believe, Burton. I could be wrong, but they played Burton, and again, he got 90 minutes. So again, at 20, 21 years of age, he needs to play football. Before I begin, continue, Olewu people and Zach Swanson, you know, in Ireland and Holland, respectively, I'm not able to keep track. I'm only able to keep track when I see stuff. But in terms of this video, I got nothing to say on them personally. Harry Clark, another young defender who I felt had a good season last year and the start to this year, needs to go on loan. Obviously headed down to Oldham. Against Carlisle, he made his debut off the bench, but he only got 9 minutes. So it is what it is. I think Mark McGuinness was on the bench for Ipswich. Admittedly, I don't have any notes, but I don't think he's played it. Well, I don't think he played at the weekend, really. So let's actually see, man. Let's actually see another one. You know, there's a lot of defenders out on loan at Arsenal. We already know we've got our own football team, and I applaud the 19-year-old for going on loan. You know, he probably got this loan move off the back of actually playing against Ipswich. He's yet to actually make his debut in the league for Ipswich, people. He's played in the EFL Trophy, which I believe I spoke about already in the last one we spoke about. But he's yet to play for Ipswich. So again, we're still patiently waiting, but he was on the bench. Our goalkeeper, Tom Smith, I believe is his first name. Apologies, but Smith has headed out to Dover on loan. Again, he hasn't played to my knowledge. I don't know why, but he's gone out on loan. Another keeper, Iliev, you know, on his debut against Wimbledon for Shrewsbury Town, you know, he kept a clean sheet in a 1-0 victory. Sadly, in his last game, they were defeated to Bristol Rovers. People. So it's been a bit of a mixed success. Oli Inca made his debut. You know, the 20-year-old joined Southend. Apologies. Until January 2021, and he had a debut from hell, not because he did anything wrong. He just got welcomed in the right way. Salford defeated them 3-0. I think he was okay, but I mean, you know, any team that loses 3-0, you're never going to be happy. He put himself around, but it's just a poor day for everybody in the office. And Mark Mosley, his manager, he seems to rate him quite highly. We're really pleased to bring James in. He's been on our shortlist for some time. We have watched him a number of times. He's been well identified to us from our recruitment and comes well recommended from people in and around Arsenal. He's had a good education at Arsenal, and we're in debt to them for trusting us with one of their young players. I said if we felt we could add value, we'd always look to do that, and we've certainly done that with James. And he's also went on to say, coming out of Arsenal, he's going to be technically good, but definitely his work ethic, energy and athleticism stuck out for us straight away. He had a taste of it with Northampton, which got cut short due to COVID, but he played in their playoff run. I'm really excited to work with him over the coming months. So again, like the Southend manager said, he got some experience playing for Northampton. He now heads to Southend, and it's about building on that. You know, when you think of Oli Inca, he's got good technical ability, he's got a good engine. Put yourself in the shop window. I know he got to play in pre-season at Arsenal, but again, beyond that, how many opportunities has he had? If you're honest, 20 years of age, around the same age as Joe Willock, you're not going to get opportunities ahead of him. You've got Miguel Aziz, which is probably going to be ahead of you. You've got Patino, who's slightly younger, probably breathing down. You know, they've just brought in Partey. There's still speculation over Torreira and Guendouzi, whether they leave permanently or not. El Nene is still there. The pathway is extremely blocked. So, and at 20, are you really just wanting to sit around and wait for Arsenal? Do you want to technically be playing for the 23s? Or again, put yourself in the shop window, convince Southend to take you permanently, convince a championship team or a team abroad. You know, do what you need to do, so year in, year out now, you're significantly improving. You know, you lot are 29, all these players that went out on loan, they all needed them, because they've all left under 23s football and they all need to advance. And what I like about them all going out on loan, if it doesn't work at Arsenal, they've all got a solid foundation to work with now, versus some at Arsenal and other clubs, you're going to not go on loan, you're going to be there for years, and then you're going to get chopped up and thrown out. And saying that, a loan doesn't always help everybody. If a player like Iwobi, who's not necessarily going to tear the world or like get goals and assists, he might not have come back from his loan. Joe Willock, Scott McTominay at Man United, they might not have come back. Not everybody needs a loan. Some men are better off staying closer to the first team and whatnot. But definitely the ones that have gone on loan, I believe it. Ben Schaefer, I think, has had a very decent last 2 game weeks against Brentford. He was better in the second half. He almost gifted a goal, but he was better. He put himself around. He seems to be one of the only players in that Coventry team who actually don't mind shooting. And the last couple of games, Coventry have been very toothless in front of goal. Schaefer's had some shots. He's put himself around. I think he had a better performance against Swansea in the 1-1 draw. He did a lot of dirty work. He put himself around. He really relished the midfield battle. And again, you know, chances at Arsenal might not be forthcoming. So put yourself in the shop window. You hear there's an option to make this move permanent. He plays like how he did against Swansea. He's going to convince Coventry, and I think a lot of these players, they're going to go to League One Championship, play for a couple of years. What's a couple of them, you might see them in the Prem. Look at Semir J. We brought him in from Charlton. He left to go Cardiff, I believe. He's got his head down and developed. He's at West Brom. The same goes for Kyle Bartley. The same goes for Luke Ayling. You know, Henry Lansbury's not playing for Villa, but eventually he got that. There are little things that can happen. Don't always see it as a step backwards, you know. Go and get some experience and you never know what could happen. I don't think I'm missing anybody else out, people, and apologies if I am, but that's all I've got to comment on in relation to my loan watch or my keeping an eye on these players that have gone on loan. You know, hopefully Coyle can get more game time. Hopefully Tyrese John-Jules' rehabilitation and recovery from injury is smooth. Hopefully Ben Schaefer and Matt Smith can continue their form. You know, Zach Medley, I'm liking the experience he's getting at Gillingham as well, getting more confidence. You know, Ballard had a debut to remember in sad circumstances because they didn't win, but, you know, can he kickstart his Blackpool career now? So it is very interesting seeing them, you know. McGuinness, can you force your way into that lineup? Clark, you made 8-9 minutes in your first appearance against Carlisle. Can you go and make sure that you're the first name on the team sheet? You know, because I know they know you're young Arsenal players and whatnot, but they're not going to care. They're going to see, the manager should just see you as a centre half or a striker, and do you give me more of a chance of training of winning on Sunday based on how you're training? That's what it's about. You know, many of these young players at 23's level, they might not be at it at one training session and they might play. You know, if you do that in first team, you know, you might train for 5 days, manager's convinced in you on the third day it's a bit iffy, fourth day you have a terrible one, then you're back good again on the last day. He might say, you know what, I can't trust you on a match day. So training and playing with consistency, seizing chances, this sort of environment can't be replicated at 23's level. So I'm happy to see the development. Long may it continue, and I'll be here to keep reviewing. On that note though, people, Deluded, I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking each and every time.